Christmas, Joyeux Noël, bienvenue à tous. I'd like to also welcome any members of Facebook Live. We hope that we have the public joining us tonight, as well as our media. And I will begin with the TNO agenda. And so we'll have our opening resolution, please, where this is where I am the mayor of the TNO, our councillors. So could I have a councillor, please, move the opening?
I will.
That was John Armstrong?
I think it was two of us. Give it to the other guy.
Okay, who was the other guy?
Carl.
Carl. All right, moved by Councillor Mayor, and I will, all those in favor and opposed, that carries. I will now do our attendance. Please say present when you hear your name. Winston Sundstrom.
Present.
Carl Mayer.
Present.
Grant Orr. Grant Orr.
Present.
Thank you. Alain Gagnon.
Yes, present.
Maurice Beauregard.
Present.
Donnie Gagnon.
Present.
John Armstrong.
Present.
Debbie Laporte.
Present.
Serge Newberry. Serge? Okay, Kim Cartier-Villeneuve.
Present.
Gilles Dion.
Present.
Lynn Cameron.
Present.
James Gibson.
Present.
Sandra Murray.
Present.
Doris Ranger.
Present.
Colleen LaRiviere.
Present.
Karen Kelly.
Present.
David Rochon.
Present.
Bernard Waugh.
Sorry, present.
Thank you. Annie Vaillancourt.
Present.
Travis Ladisser.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Jason
Present.
Durant. Thank you. Kim Lesage.
I'm present.
Natasha Gumet.
Present.
Julian Gagnon. Colleen Jones.
Present.
Cindy Phillips.
Present.
Great. Thank you very much. And hopefully Serge will be joining us. We'll go on now to the statement that I need to make for information that tonight, because of a ministerial decree and because we're on Zoom, because it's a public meeting, there is a video recording of this sitting and broadcast on the MRC website as well as Facebook Live. Go to number 3, our déclaration pour utilisation de la langue de son choix. Je rappelle qu'il est important pour les membres du conseil régional que les gens ici présents puissent s'exprimer librement dans la langue de leur choix. Au besoin, une ressource de la MRC pourra assurer une traduction. Number 4, the reading and adoption of the agenda. I need a resolution.
John.
Moved by
John.
John Armstrong. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that carries. The declaration of interest. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest on this agenda? If so, please state. Okay, seeing none. Go on to number 6. We need a resolution, the adoption of the minutes of our last meeting. Moved by Councillor Kelly. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Number 7, questions from the public. We do have questions for our public meeting of Council of Mayors, but not for TNO that I'm aware of. Is that correct, Travis and Natasha?
Yes, it is, Jane.
Thank you. Accounts payable, Annie Vaillancourt.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so for the accounts payables, in the TNO right now, we have 2 bills to pay or to receive in our receivables for $9,000. And in the bills paid since the last meeting is a total of $36,819.01. Most of it, pretty much all of that was for road maintenance.
Okay, very good. We need to be spending money on those roads. Any questions of Annie's report? And you're satisfied where we're coming in at this point, Annie? On that
Yes,
budget?
yeah.
Yes.
I
Very
can't
good.
give you a final figure right now, but everything's good. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Could I have a resolution, please? Moved
Jim.
by
Gibson.
Councillor Gibson. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. And now we'll go to the budget TNO 2021. Annie Vaillancourt.
Yes. So for the budget for the TNO for 2021, in our revenues, we have $330,580 coming from the taxes. The tax rate has stayed the same and the valuation has gone up just a slight little bit. So it's basically the same amount as last year. We also have revenues coming in for government buildings, $161,040. Licenses and permits, about $1,000. Transport, so that's for money coming in from leases for road maintenance and also contributions from municipalities, so that's $209,000. Interest $7,000, and then other revenues $3,500. So we have a total of $712,120 for revenues. As for expenses, we have general administration is at $191,274. Public security is $35,699. And transport, which is the road maintenance, the budget will be $427,561. For the waste management, $41,773. And then land use, $15,413, and some bank fees for $400. So the budget is balanced. So the expenses are $712,120, and we don't have to appropriate any surplus to balance the budget this year.
Okay, very good. Any questions of Annie on this report? Okay, so it's just being received for information at this point, I guess, Annie. There isn't.
No, you need a resolution to
Okay.
adopt. There's a
All right.
bylaw at the next
Okay.
point.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. It said information. So we will move a resolution. Could I have a counselor move this?
Doris,
Doris, by Councillor Rangi. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. And on my screen right now, Bernard and I are one on top of each other here, and we're both, that didn't sound quite right. We're both in red sweatshirts. They're matching. So we're not trying to be twins. We just decided that to be in the Christmas spirit, we needed to wear something red, and we did not wear our Christmas sweaters today to work, as many staff did, because there was a Christmas lunch virtual today. But I just want to show you with my screen. It's a very nice design. You see that? Pontiac on Outaouais. And yep, there we go. Bernard is modeling his. And these were ordered through Chantel Lair. And I'm sure if anyone is interested, they come in a variety of sizes and they're very comfortable. And so we're just saying Merry Christmas with our red sweaters. Okay.
Jane,
Yes.
Jane, just to be clear, the item 10, it was not a resolution, but it was the adoption of a bylaw.
I haven't come to it yet. I'm just coming to number 10 now. So you're correct. We have a bylaw 267-2020, the expenses and revenues of the TNO for the year 2021. We need a resolution on this. It's a bylaw, correct?
To adopt the budget, we do this by adopting by voting on the bylaw. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bernard. Okay, could I have someone move this, please? Moved
oh,
by,
Doris, I'll do it again.
well, good for you. Moved by Councillor Rangi. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. And we need a resolution to close the meeting of the TNO. The last meeting of the year. Moved by Councillor Gagnon, Donnie Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Very good. Now we will go to our regional council meeting, the last one of 2020 before Christmas. We're going to start with the opening. So we need a resolution to open the meeting, moved by Mayor Kelly. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. We've already done the attendance, but I will just take a moment to ask if Mayor Serge Newberry has joined us. Serge? No? Okay. And Julian Gagnon, he may not be required at the meeting tonight, but is Julian here? Okay, very good. We'll go on to number 2. And again, this is by ministerial decree, an announcement that because this is a public meeting on Zoom, that we have a video recording of this sitting, which will be available and broadcast. Well, it is on the MRC website and Facebook Live. And it will also be available to look at after the meeting. I'll read the declaration again for use of language of your choice. Je rappelle qu'il est important pour les membres du conseil régional que les gens ici présents puissent s'exprimer librement dans la langue de leur choix. Au besoin, une ressource de la MRC pourra assurer une traduction. Number 4, could I have a resolution for the reading and adoption of the agenda? Now, and just before we do that, I will add that we have added some, at the request of Mayor Sundstrom, 19.2.1, which is the development of forestry in the Pontiac, and 19.2.2, special working session on forestry, and 19.3, mail-in ballots for the elections 2021. And I'm adding another item, which, Travis, is 19.1 the contractor SHQ that I'd spoken to you about?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. So I do not need to add anything. So now that we
I would like to add something, Sandra.
Sandra, yes.
I'd like to add a resolution from orange zone to red zone to be sent to the government.
Okay. Have you got some wording in mind for when we come to it?
You wouldn't like my language.
Okay. So you would like a response, and we can have some discussion on it, and that will help us form the resolution. Very good.
Thank you.
And I think you're referring to the fact that it came as a big surprise to us.
Yes.
Yesterday, especially after we had spent the whole day receiving congratulations from the media, wondering what our secret to success was, having been still in the orange zone at that point. All right, I'm going to ask the question number 5. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest on this particular agenda?
Yes, I'd like to declare a conflict of interest on item 18.3.
Thank you very much, Mayor
James
LaRiviere.
Morris. It's Morris Border. 18.3, I'm a member of the Snowshoe Race Committee, so I declare a conflict of interest.
Okay, very good. Any other conflicts stated? Really appreciate you doing that. Thank you. So we'll go on to number 6, adoption of the minutes of the sitting of November 25th. We need a resolution. Moved by
I will.
Mayor Kelly. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. We'll have another resolution, please, for the adoption of the minutes of the special sitting of December the 9th. Moved by Mayor
Debbie.
Laporte. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Number 8, the warden's report. We're going to start out with an idea that I mentioned in my last warden letter on the MRC website. I'll just read what I wrote. Recently, I've been informed that many residents are interested in getting more involved in the municipal process. Many residents want more information on how everything works within their own municipalities and at the MRC level. Therefore, I have decided that in the new year, probably in the month of February, I, with members of the MRC team, will organize a virtual information session to discuss the many processes involved in municipal and regional government, so the municipalities and the MRC. This session will give an opportunity to Pontiac residents who are hoping to play a more active role in their municipality to learn the ins and outs and to ask questions and receive answers. I also plan to give a progress report on the 11 priorities with which I began my term. These were my warden priorities when I was first elected. So there will be more information posted about the date that will be in February. We'll have to coordinate it with the members of staff. And if any mayors want to participate in it as well, you'd be more than welcome. But I think it will be great. And depending on the number, we'll ask people to register in advance. We'll probably have an ideal, if we're still on Zoom, number of people that we can handle in one session, and we can always hold more than one. As far as my report goes, I had a meeting with Paul Throop about the Ski at School funding, FCM board meeting, Projet de développement régional intégré de transport des personnes, the retirement party for Région Dugas, the Association of West Quebecers had their AGA, and I participated, the Shawville Christmas Parade, CPO and FRR finalizing some projects that were chosen by the wardens, Committee of Obstetrics, a Zoom meeting with Louis Hervé about the Felix Gabriel Marchand Bridge and forestry, Centraide Outaouais Cabinet meeting, interview with City Life. I attended the Waltham Council meeting, Investment Committee, presented our check for $10,000 to Boeuf Pontiac. Press conference up in Thurso with Benoit Lauzon and Chantal Lamarche on our reaction at this point to the changes needed for the Crees, for the Outaouais. Pontiac Artists AGA. I volunteered at the Chute Collunge one night doing hot chocolate with their walk. And by the way, they've been given permission, despite the new regulations by the SQ and Tourism Outaouais, to do the lights this weekend, but this they're not sure about after this weekend. Cletus Farragon, had a meeting with him, TDSP meeting. Pandemie, we have our meeting each week with the other wardens and the M&As and the CISO. I attended the Elena Kaywood Council meeting, the Vision 2030 working session, Territorial Marketing Committee, did a journal interview. I was doing my CHIP radio reports on COVID, Facebook COVID reports, plenary meeting, CPO, a CBC interview on Zoom, the CEAS public information. It was well attended, and Pierre Frechette from the Pontiac, who is on the board, was there participating. And I had the opportunity to ask a question, and I directed it at José Filion. And I said that we understand on the obstetrics committee about the great challenge that CEAS have right now with the escalating cases. And we understand the hospitals and healthcare workers are really overburdened. But I asked her, would she commit to making the salary issue and getting the mainly the obstetrics department reopened at the Pontiac Hospital in Shawville? And she said yes. It's a top priority. We had another committee of obstetrics meeting. The CPO had a Sanko set, which the MPs and M&As from the Outaouais all participated in, and it was by Zoom. I attended the Bryson Council meeting, strategic vision, and we had a virtual lunch today with the staff of the MRC. We'll go on to announcements and events. This is where I ask each of the mayors to speak of any upcoming events between
Jane.
now and our next meeting.
Jane,
Yes.
could I just share on where you opened there about the people interested in knowing more about the councils and the MRC? I think
Yes.
it's a great idea. I wonder if these people also realize that I know Clarendon, I'm sure all the municipalities are more than happy to have people come to any one of our meetings. It's good if they just report ahead that they're coming, so we're aware, but visitors are welcome at any time to our meetings. So
That is excellent, John. And Mayor Armstrong, thank you very much for that, because I think the perception is right now that maybe the public can't go. And so I see what you say, as long as they call in advance and let the DG or you know that they're coming. So that's great.
right now, we just allow one in at a time, just for distancing, but they're
Okay.
welcome to come.
So they would come in and speak, and then they leave, and then another person could come in. That's how
That's
you're
right.
doing it?
That's right.
Excellent. Good. That's really great. Thank you so much. Okay, so
Just a
go
point,
ahead, Mayor LaRiviere.
yeah, just a point of information. I just found out tonight, we were supposed to have a budget meeting tomorrow night at 3 o'clock, well, tomorrow afternoon. And we were going to do it live, but we can't. It has to be by Zoom. So I think as of tomorrow, all meetings are going to have to be on Zoom. So.
Or could be, Colleen. Yeah,
Yeah.
could be.
Yeah. So just as a point of
You're right,
information.
Colleen. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mayor LaRiviere, do you think that if that were the case, that municipalities could still possibly have a question period and they could register and be given the information to come on?
Yeah, that's the way
Yeah.
it works. Yeah, that'll be the way that it works.
Excellent. Really great. Thanks for bringing those points. Now, Mr. Louis Hervé, is Travis, has Louis been waiting?
Présent.
Oh, bienvenue, mon ami, bienvenue.
Merci, merci.
Je m'excuse pour mon retard. OK.
Bon.
Commencez.
OK. Bon, je vais demander bonsoir à tous. Je vais demander à M. Roy ou une autre personne de pouvoir traduire au fur et à mesure mes propos, alors qui se lève la main dans l'administration de la MRC pour ce rôle.
Je vais demander à Colleen. Est-ce que Colleen, tu peux traduire?
Oui.
Parfait.
Not LaRiviere.
Excellent. Alors, on est, comme on dit en anglais, on est en business. Alors, je me présente, Louis Hervé, vice-président du groupe Far West. Alors, bonsoir, Madame la préfète, Messieurs et Madame les maires. Il me fait plaisir de vous annoncer ce soir, alors la traduction au fur et à mesure.
Oh, yes, hello. This is Louis Harvey. He's the president of Far West, and he is here to make this presentation for you this evening, and he's happy to be here.
Alors, il me fait plaisir de vous annoncer ce soir que vendredi dernier, le groupe Far West a signé un contrat avec la firme Novum Interactive.
So he is happy to announce that last Friday, Far West signed a contract with the company. Can you repeat the name? Est-ce que tu peux répéter le nom?
Novum Interactive.
Novum Interactive.
Pour l'installation permanente d'un éclairage sur le pont Félix-Gabriel Marchand.
For the permanent installation of the light fixtures on the bridge in Mansfield.
Exact. Alors, nous avons capitalisé jusqu'à maintenant 145 000 $ et nous sommes toujours dans un processus de financement. Ça va très bien.
So, so far they have raised $145,000 for the project, and they are currently in the process of getting more funding as well.
Alors, nous sommes très heureux d'annoncer l'inauguration des installations et son opération.
So we are very happy to announce the inauguration and the installation of this fixture.
Qui aura lieu lors de la fête de la Confédération du Canada le 1er juillet 2021 à 21h30 à Mansfield et Pontefract.
The reveal will be officially made on Canada Day 2021 at 9:30 p.m. in Mansfield.
Alors, mes remerciements, en premier, c'est à la municipalité régionale de comté du Pontiac pour leur appui financier par le Fonds régional et ruralité.
I would like to thank the MRC for their investment in this project through the FRR fund.
Un remerciement spécial, et là je le tiens à le dire, à Mme Sabrina Herès, qui a apporté un support constant dans notre demande de financement.
A very special thank you to Sabrina Ares of the MRC, who has been a great support to this project throughout their application for funding.
Elle a su piloter et nous représenter auprès de Mme Cindy Phillips et de son équipe administrative à la MRC.
So Sabrina was there to help along the way, and with the support of Cindy Phillips, the Director of Economic Development as well.
Un gros remerciement à la municipalité de Mansfield et Pontefract, M. Gilles Dionne et son conseil. Ils nous ont apporté un support depuis le début de ce projet incroyable et prestigieux.
And a big thank you to the municipality of Mansfield and their council, especially the mayor, Gilles Dionne, for their support from the very beginning of this project. And they are very thankful.
Et à tous les autres commanditaires qui ont participé à l'aventure.
And all the other people that have been involved in this adventure along the way.
OK. Touristes Outaouais, Caisse des Jardins et des Rivières du Pontiac, le député du Pontiac, M. André Fortin, municipalité de Fort-Coulonge, puis merci, ils ont répondu rapidement à la demande par l'intermédiaire de Madame la nouvelle mairesse, Déby Laporte et son conseil municipal, Eurovia, la firme qui restaure le pont, la pharmacie Pavlina Zirkov, Chip FM, Marie-Josée Lupien et bien entendu Far West qui participe financièrement au projet.
I'm not sure if I need to translate all the names of all the people for thank yous, but he just listed everyone involved.
That's perfect. OK. Puis, je vais terminer. Je ne sais pas si ça se traduit facilement en anglais, mais ce que je peux dire en français, c'est la réussite du projet est une volonté de la population.
So the success of this project has been like a big collaboration of everyone in the Pontiac, the whole population.
Ça va rayonner au-delà des frontières du Pontiac.
And it will shine all over the border of the Pontiac for everyone to see.
Yeah, et apportera une prospérité et des bénéfices à tous les citoyens du Pontiac.
And it will bring pride and joy to everyone of the Pontiac.
L'éclairage du pont Félix-Gabriel Marchand, c'est une lumière en direction du progrès.
So the lighting of the bridge is I couldn't really think of a good translation, but will be the star of the Pontiac.
Yeah, that's right. Merci beaucoup et bonne soirée à tous.
Jane?
Merci beaucoup, Louis. Bon travail. Nous sommes très excités et finalement, le projet est tout fini cette année. Gilles?
Moi, je tiens à remercier Louis pour son ouvrage Louis et Far West. Vous ne savez pas combien de temps que Louis a mis dans ce dossier-là. C'est incroyable le temps qu'il a mis, ce monsieur-là. Toutes les demandes, toutes les rencontres, plusieurs rencontres avec le conseil de Mansfield. Puis, je tiens à remercier Louis personnellement aussi, en mon nom et le nom de la municipalité de Mansfield. Puis oui, ça va rayonner. Puis, je suis bien content. Merci, Louis.
Merci, Gilles.
I wanted to add one more thing en anglais. A long time ago, I think it was in 2013, I started a petition and we had over 2,000 names and we gave it to Andre Fortin. He had just been elected and we asked him to stand up and it was his first file. And he stood up in the legislature and he got the funding for us. And It's been a long time coming. Back in those days, Louis, mon plan que juste, réparation. And you have taken it to a whole big level. Extravaganza, bravo. So
Yeah, I'm a dreamer.
you're a dreamer. And félicitations, we need dreamers in the Pontiac. So merci beaucoup.
Have a team with me, and that's why the dreamers stay on the ground.
Exactement.
Yeah.
Merci beaucoup. Joyeux Noël.
Merci.
And au revoir. Okay, we will now go on to our public question period. And we had actually 2 questions from Pat Gayette and 3 questions from Andre Boisvert. So I'm going to begin. I'll read the question and then I will answer. And I'm going to need Natasha's help for putting up the particular chart for the forestry consultant, please. Nat, the one that came, I think, from Colleen Jones or from Travis. Anyways, the question is this: Warden Toller, the population of the MRC Pontiac deserve a detailed statement of the $800,000 spent on the CVB project. Will you commit to a public detailed statement of these expenses? So the particular chart that I'm going to refer to is one that was approved by Bernard Waugh and Annie Vaillancourt, our treasurer. And is it coming up on the screen? Travis or Nat?
Yeah, Natasha's working on it.
Okay, very good. All right, well, I can start speaking. So initially my reference to approximately $800,000 was based on contracts that I saw, which included the years 2013 to 2020, the contract price plus expenses. So each year, the average was approximately $100,000. However, upon further investigation, and this was actually requested by the Equity newspaper, I was told that in 2013, Mr. Vizina was actually considered an employee with benefits. So the 2013 amount has been removed. And so that is why that total of $685,749 is less than, almost 800,000, because that amount is considered confidential. Salaries at the MRC are confidential. And that is mentioned at the top. It says the forestry consultant is an employee of the MRC Pontiac for the year of 2013. So for that year, the information remains confidential. And you can see that there is a breakdown per year, the amount of the service contract each year from 2014 to 2020, and the operating costs, travel expenses, which would cover car travel, hotel, restaurant, that sort of thing, and other expenses. And in 2020, there's an asterisk that says that the amount is just at $8,308 because although the budget is allocated of $15,000, the expenditures have not all yet, because the year isn't finished, been submitted. So the grand total of this shows $685,749. And so I hope that that explains to the satisfaction of Monsieur Vizina, to Pat Gayette about Monsieur Vizina. And one other thing that I can also add, he was also an employee in 2011 and 2012. But again, those amounts are confidential. Mr. Gayette's second question was, Warden Toller, were the council members of each municipality consulted by their mayors on the proposed resolution on the consultant mandate for the CVB project? I am aware that some were not. Why? Why weren't the population of each municipality made aware of this issue? So my simple answer is, I do not know the answer because I don't ask each mayor what they report to their councils. And what I try to do is I give a report each month to the mayors of my activities as a warden. And I have attended many council meetings where the mayors are giving a report from the Council of Mayors. And so I am not aware, I didn't hear, what it is that Mr. Guyette heard, but I think what we could say is that we do encourage all mayors to share information from the table of mayors because we're all trying to be as transparent as we can be and to have that open line of communication, which starts, I guess with me and eventually goes down to, not down, but out to the people in the Pontiac. The next questions were from Andre Boisvert. And as many of you may know, Andre Boisvert has been closely tracking all of the water levels, and especially since the 2019 flood. And he's got quite a high level of expertise. He sent me a letter today, and there's quite an explanation, but with different graphs. And I am going to ask that chart number 8 on the 2019 levels and outflows be shown to the mayors and to anyone else who's watching. But basically what he is saying is that the recent current water levels in the Ottawa River are extremely concerning. They're pretty much a carbon copy of the level trends at this time of year for 2018, which was the fall before the major 2019 flood. And he says that the Ottawa River Regulation Planning Board is most likely advocating that this is normal and typical, and that they plan on lowering the levels in the new year. He says this all works fine if we get a winter with very little snow and a spring with an exceedingly long freshet. As of now, they are operating levels to maximize the production of electricity. If they keep this up, the best they can hope in avoiding spring floods is a very moderate winter, very little snow precipitation and long freshet. So he's concerned that we might be playing with fire here and just sort of hoping for the best. He says their actions and strategies are not designed for the worst case scenario, but more for the best case scenario. And this makes the whole system extremely vulnerable to extreme weathers. He says I have no doubt in my mind with the current level trends, if we face an extreme winter, we're doomed. So in particular, he's concerned about the reservoirs in Témiscamingue and Desjouachins. He said that they're being close to their upper limits of 84% and 93%, which he showed different charts. I'm going to circulate his information to the mayors after this meeting. So he's concerned about the management. Well, what I can say in response to Mr. Boisvert is, your Council of Mayors here at the MRC are also extremely concerned. And in fact, Mayor Gilles Dion and Mayor Sundstrom, Mayor Laporte, Mayor Gibson is always giving us reports. So is Mayor Ranger and Donnie Gagnon, the Mayor of Bryson, the Mayor of Campbell's Bay, pretty much also Calumet Island. Everybody's watching that, especially along the Ottawa River. But what we did do, Mayor Dion asked us, so question 1, how does the MRC plan on addressing this overly concerning issue? So Mayor Gilles Dion, in a resolution on October 21st, said that considering the concerns of residents concerning rising water levels, what could we do about it? So he asked that we have the Ottawa River Regulation Planning Board meet with the Council of Mayors. So on November 18th, it was a Zoom meeting. We had Manon Lalonde from the Ottawa River Regulation Planning Review Board. We had Denis Belanger from the Public Security Outaouais, Alain Paquette, Hydro-Quebec, Public Relations, Marie Beaumont, engineer with Hydro-Quebec, and Martin Furlan with the MELCC. And he's directly concerned with the operating of the dams. So they came, they answered our questions. They basically gave us a presentation that was saying that one thing, that what happens in the fall doesn't necessarily determine what happens in the spring, and that they were all going to do their level best to make sure we don't have a repeat of the spring of 2019. Question 2, how does the ORRPB plan on addressing this issue and make sure their operating strategies account for the worst case scenario, not the best scenario? So to be honest on that, we did not ask that question. And so question 2 and 3, I have kind of an answer that will go together. I'll just take a break and show you. Okay, that's chart 1. Nat, if you could just go to chart 8, please. I just wanted to point something out, please, that Andre has written here. There it is. Okay, thank you. So he says this chart depicts the 2019 level and flow trends at the time of the major flood. This data finally proves without a doubt that poor management is at the root cause of the 2019 flood. It clearly illustrates the fact that the Desjardins Reservoir was not properly managed. So for a period of 4 weeks, the water levels were allowed to be much higher. And this is exactly what caused the flooding in our area, he feels. And had they allowed the level to slowly rise in that reservoir, the levels between that point and Chenot would have been much lower. So, you know, the question that he asks is, what will the MRC do to confront and hold the ORRPB accountable for the 2019 mismanagement of the Desjardins Reservoir? We know at the time that many theories were being presented and many people wanted to blame someone. And we also know that quite a large public relations campaign was done with Hydro-Quebec and the OPG and the Ottawa Management Board. And no one did come up with the actual reason. But I do find this compelling, what Mr. Boisvert has shown us. And what he says is that they claim they need another reservoir. They actually need to just better manage the 13 that they already have. He says if this chart isn't enough proof, he doesn't know what is. So the fact that that reservoir was at 31% its capacity for about 4 weeks while we were flooded lower in the Pontiac is unacceptable.
That's it.
So what I'm going to propose is this, and I hope the mayors will support this, because I don't think that our MRC can really confront at this point. What I want to do is set something up to prevent flooding in the spring of 2021. I'd like to tonight move a resolution to create a flood prevention task force that Mr. Boisvert could be on. There are other people with expertise in the Pontiac. I can't name them off the top of my head, but I would like to seek a few of them out. We don't need a huge committee. And I wondered if Gilles Dion, Debbie Laporte, Jim Gibson, perhaps Winston Sundstrom, whichever mayors were really affected and would like to sit on this. The meetings will probably be by Zoom. But I think that it's important to set something up. We only have a few months, but we could have the first meeting before the end of this month. So I hope that, could I have someone move a resolution to set up a flood prevention task force, which we can direct these questions to?
I will move it, Jane.
I don't think we have the expertise to move them. Thank you very much. Moved by Mayor Laporte. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. I'll say unanimously then. Thank you very much. So that concludes the public question.
Jane, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. First, Mayor Dion and then Mayor Armstrong.
Jane, I think we should probably include our MPs to be aware of this.
Okay.
And our MNA and our MP.
Excellent. I suppose time, I know they're off now for a bit of a break. They might like to take part in the first meeting, but that is a very good idea because they've both been very engaged, Andre Fortin and Will Amos. So we'll just take that as a friendly amendment and just attach it to the resolution. So all those in favor with that amended resolution? Okay, thank you very much. Unanimous. And moved by Mayor Debbie Laporte and amended by Mayor Gilles Dion. Thank you very much. Go back to our agenda.
Jane, could I speak?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Mayor Armstrong.
Going back to the first question of the gentleman as far as voting, I would just like to, I think it was left in a way that media could play with this in a strange sort of way. So I think what needs to be said for myself, and I'm sure I can't talk for anybody else, but I'm quite sure we're all in the same situation. We consult our councils, give them the information. I had 100% support to vote the way I voted. And I would assume that the rest have done the same. So that individual, if he's assuming that mayors do things without their councils, I don't think that's happening. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Mayor Armstrong.
I'll also stand by that. My council is very aware of the project. They've been kept up to date from the very beginning. And there's a lot, yes, there was money spent. There was also a lot of work done. We're talking about dollar figures. We're not saying where that brought us, unfortunately. But anyway, there has been progress, and it would be important for the public to know that also.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, we're having our public meeting right now, and hopefully lots of spectators, lots of people watching on Facebook Live. So thank you for making those points. We'll go on now to the number 12. It's a follow-up. We do this every month on COVID-19, and this will tie into what Sandra wanted. So what I'll do, Sandra, I'll say a few words. I'm going to let Bernard say a few words, and then if you would like, we can attach your resolution right here. I'll just begin by saying, as we all know, we've done extremely well. We had no cases until September, and just since September, we've had a total of 15, well, we could say since March. And of those 15 cases, they have only touched 6 of our 18 municipalities, and we have perhaps, well, they say 5 or less, perhaps about 3 active cases at the moment. We, on Monday, knew that there had been an unfortunate eclosion at a senior's residence in Papineau and also in Valley de la Gatineau. And so unfortunately, their numbers went way up, and they needed to, the zoning was changed, or we were told it would change tomorrow night in Papineau and Valley. So out of the whole Outaouais, it just left Pontiac in the orange. And yesterday, Mayor Laporte, excuse me, and I were approached by the media, maybe other mayors were as well, and they wanted to know what the secret to our success for our low numbers was. And we both said it was the hard work of the people in the Pontiac, and that we felt that there was good communication about the need for vigilance. And yesterday afternoon, I had no previous knowledge. I got a phone call actually from the media in the Gatineau area saying that at 5 o'clock in 10 minutes, I should listen to what the premier, I was going to listen anyways, but the rumor was that we would be going into the red, and sure enough, we were. There have been quite a few questions about this as to why, and my explanation is that with the soaring numbers and with the concern of our hospitals being able to cope, I believe our premier needed to literally come up with a blanket approach rather than looking at region by region. And that was why the decree was that all yellow would go orange and all the orange would go red. And so we are now going to be in the red zone midnight tomorrow night. And I think most of the mayors know. I can certainly, actually a press release has gone out this afternoon from the MRC, and it is very informative. It gives the details as to what changes, and the timing before Christmas is very difficult. In the end, we do want everyone to be safe, and we want to save lives, but I think it's going to change some plans for some people. Fortunately, some of the businesses can remain open until December 25th, but it's mainly going to be the essential services. And I'd like to ask Bernard Waugh right now just to comment on any changes now that will be made at the MRC building itself, because we do know that by tomorrow night, public and private business are to teletravail. So go ahead, Bernard, please.
Yes, following new measures announced yesterday by the government, the employees at the MRC will telework from December 17th to January 11th, 2021. They are reachable by email or phone. Just to be informed that the the license bureau will still be opened, but as we do for since a few months, you have to appoint first before coming at the license bureau. You will find on our website the open hours for the license bureau for the holidays. And if there's any more changes to come, we let you know on our website or in the media. That's all.
Okay. Any questions of Bernard on MRC staff functioning and SAAQ and that sort of thing? No questions? Okay. Mayor Murray, would you like to speak about the issue right now about the orange to the red zone?
Yes, I read everything very carefully today, many times, that came from the government. We printed it off in the office. They had a map of Quebec in the office. Of course, Pontiac is not on the map. We are never on the map. It looks like we're in the States, for God's sakes. There's no mention of Pontiac, MRC Pontiac, or Pontiac Municipality. We're not on the map. It ends at Gatineau, like it always does. And I'm sick of this. And I'm sure everybody that lives here is sick of it too. We did so well with our numbers. He had no right to put us into a red zone with the numbers we have. And I would like a resolution sent from the MRC Pontiac to the Premier with copies going to the Health Minister and to Andre Fortin. How disappointed we are with the way they did it. And that it's not fair. We worked so hard to keep our numbers low, and this is what they do. We should have all been out in the bar partying instead of staying at home and wearing our masks and keeping our distance.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mayor Murray. And so we will put a resolution together, maybe what we could do before the end of our meeting, maybe have something that we could read. But basically, I suppose from what you've said, the gist would be that it's a resolution to express our concern, as you said, with the way it was delivered and the fact that more attention should have been given to the fact that the Pontiac has done extremely well, probably one of the best regions in the province. And just the
that's correct.
Something along those lines. Okay. Do we have support for this resolution to send to the provincial government, especially, I guess, to the Premier and to Medical Officer of Health? And
I
copy Andre Fortin? Everybody in agreement?
Take the resolution.
I think that what Mayor Murray has done is she has really, in her tone, accurately conveyed how people felt. And even today, there were rumors going around that we had been changed back. And, fortunately, it's too bad because people were just in disbelief. And it's just been so confusing. And so I thank you for that, Mayor Murray. And we will make sure that we'll send it out to all of the mayors so you can see the wording.
We need to vote on the resolution.
Yes, you're right. But we're going to send out the wording as well afterwards. So moved by Mayor Murray. All those in favor? And we will say that's unanimous. Thank you, Mayor Murray.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll go now to 13.2 vacancies on 3 MRC committees. Bernard Waugh. No, sorry.
Yes.
Healthcare decentralization in the Pontiac. We have a resolution to vote on? As we know, the impact of the centralization has had a significant effect on healthcare, the network, especially people who work in the Pontiac. And there have been concerns expressed by the population, the importance of the proximity healthcare for the well-being of the population. So considering the adoption of Resolution CM 2020-99, which called for the immediate implementation of a pilot project in the Pontiac with respect to increasing the salary of nurses to the level of that of Ontario, it was moved and resolved to ask the Ministry of Health and Social Sciences for 1, the reinstatement of a local administrator position, which is a president and CEO. This person will ensure direct interaction between the community and the health network, be responsible for the operational budget and financial services that will be repatriated to the RLS, be responsible for the logical aspects of the RLS, and be responsible for the recruitment and retention of the full contingent of non-medical personnel for the RLS. And the reinstatement of a local director of professional services, and it's also explained what those responsibilities will be. And can you just move it a little further so I can just finish reading it, please? And third, the reestablishment of a local conseil des médecins, dentists, and pharmaciens, which is the Council of Physicians, Dentists, and Pharmacists for the Pontiac. And the reestablishment of a table des chefs locaux, a local chiefs table, the reestablishment of a small local board of directors, the repatriation of the Pontiac foundations, and the attribution of operational powers to the above mentioned bodies, and the implementation of a pilot project in the Pontiac over a period of 5 years to establish a salary structure for nurses and other health professionals at the Ontario level so that we can attract people here and keep them here. And it was also resolved to ask the CPO, the Council of Préfets, to support the MRC Pontiac in its efforts. And if that is the end of it, could I have someone move this resolution?
I will, Sandra.
Moved by Mayor Murray. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. We'll go on to 13.2, vacancies on 3 MRC committees. Bernard Roy.
Yes, following the resignation of Mr. Gaston Allard, there are 3 vacant seats on 3 different committees: Tourism Committee, PPJ Committee, and the Advisory Committee for the revision of the Land Use and Development Plan. So this resolution is to appoint Mrs. Debbie Laporte, Mayor of the Municipality of Village of Fort-Coulonge, as a member sitting on each of those 3 committees.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Could we have someone move the resolution? And I want to add that. Okay, moved by Mayor Dion, and Mayor Laporte graciously accepted sitting on those 3 committees. So thank you very much, Mayor Laporte. And are all those in favor?
Yep.
Opposed, and that carries. Thank you. 13.3, transfer action, the optimization plan and provisions for revised 2020. Bernard Roy.
This resolution is to adopt 2 different documents. To first adopt the plan for resource optimization and restoration maintenance for year 2020-2022, a service offer, and as well as the revised 2020 budget estimates as tabled by Transport Action in accordance with the MTQ program called Programme d'aide d'urgence au transport collectif. So we need someone to propose it.
Okay, any questions?
Colleen.
No, moved by, yes. Mayor LaRiviere, you sit on transfer action, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, moved by Mayor LaRiviere. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 13.4, Bylaw 268-2020, are assemblies of the MRC Pontiac for the year 2021. Bernard Roy.
Yes, this bylaw to adopt 2068-2020 is to provide for the assemblies of the Regional County Municipality of Pontiac for the year 2021. So the council will stay starting at 6:30. The meeting will still be held at the Elsie Gibbons room unless in accordance with the government directives decreed in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. It may be held virtually by alternative means of communication as we do tonight by Zoom. So we need someone to adopt this bylaw 268-2020.
Thank you. Could I have someone move the resolution?
Lynn,
Moved by Mayor Cameron. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 13.5, the 2021 calendar. Bernard Waugh.
Yeah, related to the bylaw 268, we have to adopt the calendar for meeting for year 2021. We usually have our public meeting the third Wednesday of each month, but there's 3 exceptions in 2021. First of all, there's no meeting in July. Secondly, because of a year of elections, the October meeting will be held on October the 6th. And as we do each year, the budget meeting, so the meeting in November will be the 4th Wednesday of November, so November the 24th.
Okay, great. Thank you. We need a resolution moved by.
I will.
Moved by Mayor Kelly. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Thank you. Go on to finances. Annie Vaillancourt.
Yes, so this is the MRC financial report for the last month. We currently have in our accounts receivable a total of $902,000, $975.86, and those always include the loans that are for businesses in the development department. For the accounts payables, we have a total of $210,692.79 to be paid. And then in all of the checks and bills that we paid in the last month, they total $202,825.05.
Okay.
And we also have some travel expenses for one meeting for the month for the elected officials, and the expense is $477.
Okay, thank you. Say two? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions of Annie Vaillancourt? Okay, thank you very much. So a resolution to move that, please. Moved by Mayor
Donnie,
Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Economic development, 15.1, the gateway for snowmobilers. Cindy Phillips.
Yes, good evening. The first item is regarding a gateway to the Outaouais. The MRC has been presented with an opportunity to partner in a project that will see the resurfacing of a 1,600-foot bridge across the Ottawa River, which will allow snowmobilers from the Ontario side to reach our trails here in the Outaouais and in the Pontiac. So you have before you a 2-part resolution. The first part is to authorize myself to apply for funding in the amount of $25,000 to Tourism Outaouais within the framework of the Porte d'Entrée program for the longest snowmobile bridge in the world project. And the second part of the resolution is to authorize an amount of no greater than $20,000 from the 2020 tourism marketing budget to contribute to the bridge project and to authorize myself as signatory on all related documents and contracts stemming from the initiative.
Excellent work, Cindy. Could you just highlight again how much we're investing versus what will be provided by the Ontario snowmobiling group for this work?
Sure. The total project is estimated at around $425,000, of which the proponent, which is the West Carleton Snowmobile Trails Association, their portion is in the environment of $113,000. Our contribution would be between 15 and 20,000, and I have had talks with and will move forward with an application to Tourism Outaouais for $25,000.
Okay, sorry, I think you said 113 from Ontario. Isn't it 413 roughly? They're paying quite a bit more than we have to, isn't that correct?
Yes, correct. Sorry, that's the total project amount. They received both federal and Ontario provincial funding for their portions as well, but there was a shortfall of 113,000 altogether.
Excellent.
Sorry.
And another thing I would just like to let the mayors know is, you know, it's not easy to secure funding in a short period of time. And Cindy Phillips has been extremely successful asking for this grant through Tourism Outaouais and has really received a very positive response. And finally, who came up with the name, the longest snowmobile bridge in the world project?
That would be the West Carleton Snowmobile Trails Association.
Because I think we'd all agree it's a great name. And is there anything that we can say at this point about the ATVs? Will they also be making use of the corridor? Or at this point, it's mainly snowmobile?
This project is specific for snowmobiles.
For the bridge and everything. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Could I have someone move this resolution, please? Moved by, who was that? Karen Kelly?
Yep.
Thank you very much. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 15.2, resolution for River Routes project. Cindy?
Yes, this is another project that has been presented to the MRC Pontiac, another tourism project. It's a project that would involve choosing specific routes along some of our rivers to create formal paddling routes that would be mapped and promoted. So you have a resolution before you to authorize myself to sign an agreement with a company called Art2O Design for a river routes development project.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions of Cindy on that? Could I have someone move it, please?
Lynn,
Moved by Mayor Cameron. All those in favor? Opposed, carries. Thank you very much. 15.3, scenic rest stops project. Resolution, Cindy?
Yes, yet another opportunity that has come our way. Tourism Outaouais is seeking a letter of support for a funding request that they are making to the Desjardins Fund for a scenic rest stops project. From what I understand, they were looking at installing new scenic rest stops along the chemin d'eau or the water routes that have already been well established in the Outaouais. So there's a resolution before you to authorize for Bernard Roy to sign a letter of support to Tourism Outaouais in support of their application for funding to the Desjardins Fund.
Okay, any questions on the part of any mayors? Okay, could I have a resolution, please? Moved by?
I will, Jane.
That was Mayor
Yes.
Cameron?
It's
Thank
Debbie.
Oh, Debbie, I'm so sorry. I can only see if I've got the screen taking up most of my, I should move that out of the way. Thank you very much, Mayor Laporte. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 15.4, the Outaouais Ski at School financial support. Cindy Phillips.
Yes. This is a resolution before you to authorize financial support for the Ski at School program in order that they can install the program in the schools of the MRC Pontiac during the winter season of 2020-2021. The financial support being suggested is in the amount of $10,000. And I have included in the resolution a breakdown of where this one-time funding support would come from. So in the 2020 MRC Pontiac Sports and Leisure budget, the amount of $5,500. in the 2020 MRC Pontiac donations and sponsorships budget, an amount of $1,000. In the 2021 MRC Pontiac sports and leisure budget, $3,000. And in the 2021 MRC Pontiac donations and sponsorships budget, $500, for a total of $10,000. This, of course, would be contingent on the fact that they are able to offer the program in our schools for this winter season.
Okay. And you will be hearing back from them. And unfortunately, when we did approach the school boards, neither school board had money to contribute. Could I have someone move this $10,000 amount?
Gilles.
Moved by Mayor Dion. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 15.5, nomination of members to the art committee that will be choosing for the collection for what we are going to be donating towards the art collection of the MRC.
Correct. You have there is a requirement to strike an analysis committee for the call for art projects to add to the MRC Pontiac's regional art collection. You have a resolution before you, which includes the composition and the mandate of said committee. So the mandate is to establish calls for projects, review submissions, and make recommendations on the procurement on behalf of the MRC Pontiac. And equally resolved that the committee be composed of the following members: Mayor Lynn Cameron, Mayor Alain Gagnon, a representative member of the cultural community, a member representing the community of artists, and a member representing the general population.
Okay, very good. Resolution moved by
Jim Gibson.
Thank you. Mayor Gibson, all those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 15.6, Investment Committee recommendations. Cindy Phillips.
Yes, following the regular meeting of the Investment Committee, which was held on the 2nd of December, the recommendations are as follows. MRC CI 2020-1204, a grant in the amount of $25,000, and MRC CI 2020-1205, a recommendation to approve the extension of a grant until March of 2022. Those are the recommendations of the Investment Committee held in December.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Could I have someone move the resolution, please? Moved by Mayor Beauregard. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 15.7, Emergency Aid Fund for SME. Cindy Phillips.
Yes, we recently received an application for emergency aid assistance under the emergency loan program for small and medium enterprises. And if you recall, the Investment Committee has been given decisional power to analyze and approve loans under this program. So you have before you the document which lists the loan, which is in the amount of $35,000. So the resolution is to adopt the list granted under the Emergency Assistance Program for SMEs as presented by the Investment Committee. And you can see there on that spreadsheet, our current available balance in that fund is sitting at $76,386. Worth mentioning perhaps that now that we have moved into the red zone, I am working with and awaiting for precisions on any changes that we may see coming in the following days concerning this program.
Very good. Any questions of Cindy? Could I have someone move this resolution, please? Moved by Mayor Armstrong. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. Thank you. 15.8, we're going to be looking at the recommendations of donations and sponsors. So 15.8.1, the Club de Motoneige Pingouin. Cindy?
Yes, you have before you a proposed resolution that an exceptional donation in the amount of $1,000 be awarded to the Penguin Snowmobile Club to support them during their upcoming season.
Okay, moved by
Doris.
Oh, I had Mayor Dion's hand up first before, so moved by Mayor Dion. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 15.8.2, donation Cletus Farragon. Cindy Phillips.
Yes. You have a resolution before you, then an exceptional sponsorship in the amount of $1,800 be granted to Mr. Cletus Farragon for the event Isolation 2020 Country Jamboree to be held in August of 2021.
I'll make that motion. Colleen?
Moved by Mayor LaRiviere. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Great job. Public safety, 16.1. Now, is Julian Gagnon here? There
Yes,
you
I
are.
am,
Hi,
Jen.
Julian. Okay, MRC affirming its jurisdiction, the revised bylaw for fire prevention, a resolution. Go ahead.
Correct. First item is our intention to declare competence as it relates to the revision of our fire prevention bylaw. We've added the proposed bylaw has some extra points that we had not had delegation for in the past. So we must return to the local municipalities. This resolution will be an adoption of a resolution to be sent to declare competence on the different aspects of fire prevention to be sent to municipal authorities or municipal councils with a 90-day time frame to adopt the new resolution with for the new bylaw.
Very good. Any questions or comments? Good. We have someone move this resolution, please. Moved by?
Brent?
I think, okay, Brent, Mayor Orr, all those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 16.2, the modification of the SUMI intermunicipal agreement, water rescue. Julian Gagnon.
Yes, so this item is a resolution to propose a modification to our current intermunicipal agreement, which comprises all municipalities of the MRC, to modify it to add the components of water rescue along with our off-road rescue that is currently in the agreement. So this resolution will be sent again to municipalities for adoption if they agree to the changes in the current agreement.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of Julian on that? Could I have someone move that resolution, please? Moved by Mayor Beauregard. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Thanks, Julian. Kim Lesage, Regional Infrastructure, our MRC engineer. 17.1, the Stone School lease.
Well, our lease is up with the Association des Artistes du Pontiac, who've been renting the Stone School that the MRC owns since for the past 3 years. The lease is up at the end of December, and they are willing to renew the lease for another period of 3 years. And as discussed with the Council of Mayors, we are proposing to move a resolution to renew the rental agreement with the association for a period of 3 years with similar conditions to the existing lease, but also with a reduction of the monthly rent to $600 per month, payable on the first day of each month. And in addition, this resolution would authorize Jane and Bernard to sign the agreement on behalf of the MRC.
Okay, any questions or comments? Could I have someone move that resolution, please? Moved by Mayor Cameron. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 17.2, the Association des Artistes du Pontiac.
We had a presentation from the Association des Artistes du Pontiac, also discussing the lease, but they also made a request, a funding request to the Council of Mayors. We're proposing a resolution that whereas that we have already waived the rent cost for 2 months in the spring due to COVID, but we also wish to encourage the practice of arts in the Pontiac and the accessibility of arts and culture to the population. And then with this request for funding, we are proposing, and this is at Jane's suggestion and discussion, to develop a new fund to support artists and artist-run centers in the MRC Pontiac. Jane, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
Oh, thanks, Kim. I was just going to say that, as we know, we had money available for small business and entrepreneurs. Artists are sort of a different category. And I just think about the many artists we have and the many that we want to encourage and really make the Pontiac a hub of culture and art. And $500 would go a long way. So if we had a fund, and I spoke to Annie Viancourt about it, we could take $5,000 this year from the surplus, and then next year it would be built into the budget, and I guess would come from shares. So it would be a total of $5,000 a year. It could help 10 artists at $500 maximum per person. They'd have to submit a business plan for it. But just as an example, let's say we have a music artist who's trying to raise money for an album, you know, to make the first CD, or we have, there are so many different mediums that people do art in. But I think it's a very good statement about the Pontiac, and I think it will become known, and it sends a strong message to our Artists Association and our community, and it will attract more artists here. So I hope that you would support it. And so we'll have someone move that resolution, please. Any discussion or questions to ask? Okay. Is there someone who would like to move it?
Jim Gibson.
Moved by Mayor Gibson. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Thank you, Kim. So you've got another item here, 17.3, the MRC property access for annual snowshoe race.
Last year, we received a similar request for an event, a snowshoeing event, which entails 5 and 10 kilometers. This was last year, snowshoe races, and then an initiation to snowshoeing during the day. Part of this, the event also runs through MRC property. And so they're asking, last year was a very successful event. They're going to do it again. And the money is going to go to a local nonprofit organization, all of the profits of this event. So this resolution is similar to last year's, but for asking permission for an annual event, for a one-day annual event.
Very good. Thank you. Could I have someone move this resolution, please?
Donnie.
Moved by Mayor Donnie Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Thank you very much, Kim. Okay, we go to our manager of territory, Jason Durant. I'm going to introduce, first of all, 18.1, Municipalities for Climate Innovation Program of the FCM. And this is being presented by, I think, Carrie Richardson with Jason. Carrie?
Yes.
Jason, okay.
Thank you, Jane. Good evening, everybody. Bonsoir tout le monde. So just to inform you that the MRC applied to the Municipality for Climate Innovation Program. So to supplement the salary of our environmental coordinator. So this is to update the greenhouse gas emission reduction plan, and as well to implement the municipal initiative focused on the effects of climate change. So actions to date, we have phase 1. Reports for the second installment of the FCM grant have been submitted, and a payment of $51,359 has been received. And phase 2 is the action plan. So I would like to give the floor to, I would say mostly the screen, to Carrie Richardson so she can present her action plan.
Thanks, Jason.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. So I'll try not to keep you too long. I'll just do a quick presentation. So I'll just do an outline of the context just to remind you where this is coming from, and then go over the content of the action plan and let you know what the next steps are. So as Jason just mentioned, the MRC applied for this climate innovation program to supplement my salary, which involved doing an update of our greenhouse gas inventory that was done with a reference year of 2011 in the past. So we did that with a reference year of 2017. And those reports have all been submitted and cleared, and those were presented at the October meeting. So the next slide, the next phase of the project is the action plan, which I'll be presenting, which involves creating community awareness campaigns and offering, the main part is offering municipal support for improving their efficiency within their own municipal offices and maybe saving some money along the way. So next slide. So just a reminder of what we found from what was done for the inventory that was presented back in October. The inventory study was divided into two portions: the corporate activities of local municipalities. Those are the activities that are directly controlled by municipal offices, things like their own buildings, their street lighting within the municipalities, water treatment plants, their public works buildings. And then there's the community activities that are road transportation, such as snow removal, if there's a collection of disposable materials, if there's collective transport, those are things that are community activities. So just a little reminder of what was determined. No surprise that we're a rural MRC, so our main source of emissions is our transportation on the territory. So then we'll skip ahead to the next slide, please, Natasha. So then this action plan that was developed is 13 actions that will be implemented across 7 sectors. Seven actions that are already underway, and we're hoping to reduce them. The calculations that I have show a minimal reduction, but we're hoping that with the action plan we can improve the overall reductions of emissions from when we did our last inventory and action plan back in 2015. Next slide, please. Next slide. So for the action plan, these are past actions from the last plan that are currently underway. So we had several municipalities install LED lamps or solar lamps with their street lighting. So that started in 2012 for a lot of municipalities, and it's continuing. Many municipalities have been thinking about doing some composting campaigns. We did some magnets, infographic magnets that were distributed the past year for some composting awareness. Most municipalities offer leaf and brush collections at their transfer sites. Action number 3, closure of landfills back in 2010, which led to the promotion of more recycling in local municipalities. Action 5, offering collective and adaptive transport. As I mentioned, that's our largest producer of greenhouse gases on the territory, and the adaptive transport and collective transport has significantly increased in the past couple of years on the territory. Tree distribution. Good way to reduce emissions is to plant trees, and as you all know, the MRC has been giving out trees on the annual Tree and Forest Day, so hopefully we can pick that up again this year after having had to miss it last year. And number 7, we've added since our last action plan, the adoption of paper-free council meetings. So that's a great advance from our last action plan. So then for the next portion of the action plan, some short-term actions that are included are water reducing consumption, reducing water consumption awareness campaigns. So I know a lot of municipalities this past summer have had campaigns within their local municipalities, but we're hoping that we can help out and maybe do something central that you can use in your local municipalities. Number 9, creating energy efficient guide for the workplace. So that was already done and distributed along with the inventory plan that was presented in October. Sharing a fuel consumption monitoring tool with the municipalities. This is something that municipal offices can use to track their public works vehicles to see if maybe there's places where they can save on fuel. Maybe for inspections, a pickup truck doesn't need to be used. Maybe it can be a car. Just some little tricks just to see if monitoring might help them reduce emissions. Number 11. Study of biofuel for municipal public works. So within the action plan, there are certain actions where I was able to calculate what potential a reduction in emissions could look like. So if I took your municipal fleet and see if you converted some of them to vehicles that could use biofuel, what your savings would be and what your reduction in emissions would be. Number 12, replacing end-of-life vehicles with less energy-consuming vehicles. This will just be a campaign just with some stats and figures for local municipalities that they might be able to look at with suggestions. And number 13, selling household composters at reduced prices. So the ACDC program, which is the Ministry of Environment program, Recette Québec, to offer to municipalities a rebate to help them with their domestic composters is back this year. So we're hoping that Thierry and I can maybe help municipalities if they're doing those applications for those, along with Action 14, which is to include kitchen compost bins to help with the domestic composting at home. So hopefully we can increase that in the next year. Number 15, an anti-idling awareness campaign. Number 16, another educational campaign for discarding old vehicles. Believe it or not, they are a source of greenhouse gas emissions on the territory. And I'm sure municipalities would like to clean some of those old vehicles up on the territory. Number 17, creating an eco-responsible guide for citizens, which is also in the works. The last one was just for municipal staff or for any office in general, but the next one will be for citizens. Number 18 is, I think, another point that's coming, study a refrigerator recovery program. Number 19, I've had requests from several citizens to organize a climate change forum. So where we would hire a speaker to come and probably by Zoom, as most things are done these days, offer some educational information about climate change, where maybe participants could also interact and ask questions. And number 20 is creation of a climate change information page, which is now live on the IMRC website. So if you go in the environment tab, there are a few categories. There's waste management, there's water courses, and now there's climate change. So all of these campaigns that were discussed will be found at that place on the MRC website. The inventory is already there. The municipal energy efficiency guide is already there. And I'm going to, in the near future, do some translating to just offer some English summaries of those the big documents that are going to be on that page. Then some long-term actions within the action plan is to valorize wastewater treatment and valorize waste on the territory, which would be the energy from waste action plan, which would minimize transportation on the territory and again reduce emissions significantly. So then with the action plan, there's just a quick budget. A lot of it, as you noticed, is campaigns, so we can do that in-house internally, so there's not a huge cost with that. And there is funding available for municipalities for things like the composting. So for now, the budget's only about $7,000 for the next 5 years, because as I also mentioned, we have already implemented some of these things in the last year or two since our last action plan. So the next slide. The next steps are creating community awareness campaigns. As I mentioned, a lot of the action plans are campaigns, and offering municipal support, I think, is the main activity in the action plan to help municipalities improve energy efficiency. And then, so my final reports for this grant, for this fund, are all due at the end of February. And that's it for me.
Those are amazing ideas and objectives, Carrie. I just have one question.
Yes.
The bins that you talk about that could be available in kitchens to help people compost, is that something that we will have to charge residents for, or is there some incentive through FCM or something that you could get 75% paid, or how could we go about doing that?
Yeah, so the program that's currently available is not, it's not necessarily friendly for all of our municipalities, and we're working with them to try and figure out how it could work. But there is a rebate for the domestic composters, and with that, a rebate also for the kitchen catchers. So whether municipalities want to pick up the rest of the tab for, you know, the 80% or the 20% that's left, or the 15% that's left, depending on whether it's the backyard composter or the kitchen catcher, or whether or not they just want to offer it to residents at a cheaper price, they can do that too. You know, just have buy in bulk and then say, we're willing to offer this $100 composter to you for $20 instead. So just depending how municipalities want to do it, there are ways we can work together with them.
Okay, excellent. Anyone got any questions or comments to Carrie on her report? Okay. Excellent, Carrie, thank you. We'll go ahead
Thank
then.
you.
We need a resolution on that. Who would like to move it? Moved by
Lynn,
Mayor Cameron. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 18.2, the representative from MRC for Tablagier, Jason.
Yes, well, part of his mandate, the Directory of Territory at the MRC Pontiac is required to represent his organization for the territory sector group at the original table of integrated management of resource and public territory in Outaouais. So that would be in the Tab G, the famous Tab G. So since Mr. Régent Dugas is now retired, the MRC recommends that Jason Durand, Director of Territory and Environment, be appointed to represent the MRC Pontiac on this regional table. On this regional table, sorry.
And do you accept?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Could someone move this, please? Moved
Doris.
by Mayor Beauregard. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 18. Thank you very much, Carrie and Jason. Now we go to Alexandre for 18.3, the adoption of the draft bylaw 269-2021 for the former CN Railway Corridor. Alexandre.
Oui, donc ça concerne l'adoption d'un projet de règlement 269-2021. So we are proposing tonight the draft bylaw 269-2021 regarding the former CN Railway Corridor, which is located in the south part of Bristol, Clarendon, and south part of Litchfield as well. Donc, c'est un projet de règlement qui vise à permettre l'utilisation des motoneiges pour la saison hivernale et les véhicules tout-terrain pour la période estivale, donc du 1er avril au 30 novembre, sur la section sud, là, comme je le disais, de Bristol, Clarendon et de Litchfield, formerly known as the CN Corridor. Donc, il est important de noter que le public peut donner des commentaires pour ce projet de règlement à partir de demain, donc le 17 décembre jusqu'au 10 janvier. We will be receiving comments from the public starting tomorrow on December 17th up to January 10th of next year for final adoption in the next year by council. Donc, en gros, c'est ça. Si aussi peut-être mentionner ces documents, donc la carte et le projet de règlement vont être déposés sur notre site web demain. So tomorrow we will be putting on our website the draft bylaw as well as the map for people and organizations to look at and to comment if any comments have to be made to staff and elected officials.
Okay, excellent work, Alex. Very, very well done. Thank you. Any questions or comments for Alex? Okay, we then need a resolution. Moved by
John.
John. Okay, Mayor Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. So now we go to the miscellaneous, and I have one brief item here, 19.1, and I'm looking for a resolution. About 10 months ago, I became aware of a situation where a contractor working with the SHQ had unfortunately finished the work but not received the payment. So I'm simply asking, because the MRC is sort of the closest level that people who have concerns can come to, because the SHQ is in Gatineau, not really part of the MRC, and this concerned the changeover of people involved from the SHQ. So the resolution is simply to ask, just to gain your support, to investigate and come up with a solution with the SHQ to help this contractor who's unpaid. Could I have someone move this resolution?
David.
David, okay, Mayor Rochamp, thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. We'll keep you posted on it. And now 19.2 Forest Strategy. Winston Sundstrom, 19.2.1. Would you like to introduce it, Winston? I think you're on mute.
Okay, thank you, Warden Toller. These two resolutions are under the title Support for the Development of Forestry in the Pontiac. So the first resolution is basically to say that as a Council of Mayors, we are interested in and do support Renmatics locating in the MRC Pontiac. Hopefully it would be unanimous, but I will read the resolution. Whereas the MRC Pontiac has been working to promote economic development on its territory in forestry since the closure of Smurfit Stone. Whereas governments prioritize the development of companies that use forest resource processing technologies that have a low environmental impact. Whereas the company Renmatics is recognized for its technology in the transformation of wood fiber to bioproducts. Whereas Renmatics would stimulate the local economy by capitalizing on unused pulpwood, which is available in abundance in the MRC Pontiac territory. Whereas Renmatics, or a similar company, would be an anchor in a biopark for a group of companies that would complement each other. And the concept here would be similar to a shopping center where a major food store is the anchor and a number of businesses locate there that complement each other. Whereas Renmatics is a company well recognized for their success of energy and sustainability, whereas a project anywhere in the Pontiac benefits the entire Pontiac, whereas it is good investor attraction policy to welcome all companies looking to locate in the MRC Pontiac. The resolution is to be moved and resolved that the MRC Pontiac welcome Renmatics and thank them for their interest in the MRC Pontiac. Also resolved that the Council of Mayors pursue and support the location of Renmatics in the MRC Pontiac. And further resolved to forward the resolution to Renmatics, Andre Fortin, Will Amos, Minister Fitzgibbons, Minister Dufour, and Minister O'Regan. So, Madam Toller, if we could have a mayor move that resolution.
Yes, just beforehand, I just had one suggestion.
I will move that.
Okay, that's great. I just had one suggestion. So ultimately, it will be, I guess, the decision of Renmatics. But we're going to do everything possible to encourage them to come. That is the meaning behind this.
To welcome them and encourage them, yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Can someone move this, please? Moved by
John.
Mayor John Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed? I guess that we'll say it's unanimous. Thank you. And now that the resolution is finished, I just wanted to add that we should also keep an open mind to encourage other companies in case Renmatics decides not to come to the Pontiac. I read recently of Latuque had a similar sort of biorefinery built. So just want to put it out there that there could be some, if Renmatics doesn't choose the Pontiac, you have a good project, we don't want to give up on it. Keep an open mind, maybe to see what other companies might be available too. Okay, and you have another resolution called Development of Forestry in the Pontiac Special Working Session. Mayor Sundstrom.
Okay, so yes, I would say that we're interested in all companies, all and any companies that wish to locate here.
Yes.
But the second resolution is to further develop and to work towards finalizing a forest strategy for the MRC Pontiac. And hopefully this resolution will result in the mayors becoming united and united in pursuing a Pontiac-wide forestry strategy. And also hopefully it would be unanimous. So I'll read the resolution. Whereas it is the responsibility of elected officials to act in the best interests of the MRC Pontiac, whereas the government of Quebec has a forest strategy in place, whereas the MRC Pontiac has not yet finalized its forestry strategy, whereas the MRC Pontiac needs to develop its forest strategy based on and synchronized with the Quebec Forest Strategy, whereas the MRC Pontiac has a mandate from the government of Quebec to pursue economic development, whereas the MRC Pontiac is targeting economic development in the forestry sector, whereas it is important that the Council of Mayors be united on a forest strategy. So it is moved and resolved that the Council of Mayors hold a special working session, preferably on January the 9th, but possibly on January the 16th, depending on the COVID, to further develop a forest strategy that unites the Pontiac and applies to the entire territory. It is further resolved to invite the forestry industry stakeholders, such as the Pontiac wood producers, to make presentations to the mayors at this special working session.
Okay, thank you. I wondered, Mayor Sundstrom, if you would consider a friendly amendment. When I looked at this, realizing the new regulations that have come out and that deadline of January 11th, I was thinking that we could tonight vote on the meeting being held on January the 16th, which is a Saturday. And whether it's Zoom or face-to-face, we don't know, but let's choose January 16th so that it gets decided. And we weren't able to have a lac a Paul last year because of COVID, so we could call it our lac a Paul, but it will be a forestry lac a Paul. And I'm pleased to hear that you added an S to stakeholders, because I was going to amend it and say it is further resolved to invite all forestry industry stakeholders, because I think this is what we all want to look for, is get all of the resources in the room or in the meeting together, and have that, if you want the strategy for the whole Pontiac, then we can include many stakeholders. So if you would accept those two amendments of the 16th, and you already corrected it to include more than just the one group, who would like to move this resolution?
I will.
Okay, well, sort of a tie, but Mayor Beauregard had his hand up first. So moved by Mayor Beauregard. All those in favor? Opposed? And we will record that as unanimous. Congratulations, Mayor Sundstrom.
What time would the meeting?
Pardon me?
So, Jane, just a question. What time would the meeting be?
I think about 9. It's a good time for us to start, because depending how it goes, you know, we might finish just after lunch or around lunch, and we'll see. It might be a full day, but that way we can start with like coffee and muffins or something like that. And the first one was held at the Little Red Wagon. The second was held at Harrington Hall. We didn't have one this past year. So if anybody will probably be Zoom, but just in case, we'll start to consider some locations. And I think we have come to the end of the agenda, because we did look after Mayor Murray's orange zone, red zone. Oh no, 19.3, sorry, Mayor Sundstrom, mail-in ballot selections 2021.
Yes, I just wanted to table or alert everyone to the fact that there may still be COVID problems in November. and we may need to look at mail-in ballots. It's just a point of information, and maybe we can have some further discussion on this as we get towards the spring to see if it's something that's going to be needed.
Okay, thank you. I did a little tiny bit of research. I spoke to Bernard Waugh just to ask how it all works. And what he informed me is that the MRC has the jurisdiction of looking after mail-in ballots if need be for the TNO only. But for the municipalities, it will be for you to decide in terms of the expense and the logistics and how it would work and whether it makes sense. But as you say, maybe further discussion of it in 2021.
Yes.
So is there any other business that anybody would like to discuss while we're all together?
If I could just comment on the mail-in ballots for a second.
Sure.
It would be good if we could all agree on yes or no down the line later in the spring, because it would be kind of an imbalance, I guess, if some municipalities go for mail-in and some don't, because of the cottage population that we have.
Yeah, and actually Bernard raised another issue, and that is for the seniors' homes. We'll have to see how they're impacted with COVID too, to enable them for voting. So unless anyone has anything else to add, I would. Who's speaking?
Are we able to add a point, Jane, just about the charging station at the MRC? I forgot there was a press release of this week, but I think it's an important point to bring up.
Go ahead.
So we put out a press release this week, and it's very exciting news because on Monday, we just completed the installation of the first public charging station for electric vehicles in the whole territory of the MRC Pontiac. It's installed at the in Litchfield at the MRC offices in the parking lot. And this initiative was possible thanks to the Sauvé project. The charging station is a level 2 charging station, so 240 volts. And it's part of the Hydro-Québec's Circuit électrique or electric circuit charging network, where users need to use cards to recharge their vehicles at any charging station on the network on the Quebec and Ontario. So it's exciting news that now the public passing by or coming to Cottage can stop at the MRC to charge their vehicles, electric vehicles.
Thank you very much for mentioning it, Kim. And I'd like to give credit to Bernard Waugh because he's a real champion of electric vehicles, and I think had a lot to do with noticing the grant opportunity to get the car and the charging seat. Go ahead, Bernard. Like to add something?
No, it's also the credit of Thierry and Kim, who works a lot on it. So it's a work team. Well done, and I hope it will be used by people coming in the Pontiac with an electric car. Now they know that they can charge their own vehicle somewhere. Very important.
Do we have a sign out on the corner, or do they just know through their iPhones?
Yeah, usually each user of electric car has an app in its cell, and he knows everywhere where there's a station, a charging station. So no, we don't have any sign outside. We can maybe put one somewhere, but the main tool to know where charging station is the cell phone.
Okay, thank you. Any other business? Go ahead, Mayor Dion.
I hear that the SEQ in Mansfield will have a bande de recharge aussi. So, yeah, that's what I heard, that probably they're working on that, and we're probably going to get one. I know there's 2 of them at the clinic in Mansfield, but I guess it's for the doctors and the staff. I don't know if it's public.
It isn't.
No,
But
it's
I know it's also in the plan of Caisse Populaire to have a charging station and maybe level 3. And what we need now is not another level 2 charging station, but a level 3. So
Oh, 3. Okay.
three. So it's more power. It takes less time to charge to have a full charge, and it will be helpful to put Pontiac again on the map for all user of electric car.
Yeah, very good. Well, is there anything else anyone would like to say? Otherwise, I would like to say that there was a jump of 60 cases in the Outaouais of COVID, but the good news is not a single new case in the RLS Pontiac. And whether we're orange zone, red zone, I just want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, as well as a healthy and safe holiday. And I will continue. I'll be here throughout the time. I meant to mention this in the agenda, but I'll just say it now. Mayor Laporte had brought forward the fact that a gentleman wanted to know if he, through the holidays, had a concern about COVID, if he could call someone. We really can't set anything up at the MRC because of the new regulations, etc. So anyone in the Pontiac can call me, and my phone number is 819-647-8198. I'm here for the whole holidays, and I'm happy to help. And I'm going to continue. I'll try my best to the mayors to update you on any changes or anything that I think you need to know. So I hope you'll all have a good rest, and it's been a pleasure working with you this year. And let's hope, bright hope for next year, a different year. Anyone else like to say Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas, Jane.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Everybody.
Yep, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
everyone. Joyeux Noël.
Joyeux Noël.
Joyeux Noël, tout le monde.
Bye, Joyeux Noël.
Joyeux Noël.
Bye.
Joyeux Noël et bonne année.
Bonne année.